Welcome to my comprehensive Route 66 guide, where I'll be your virtual tour guide along this iconic American highway. Buckle up as I take you on a thrilling journey through the twists and turns of Route 66 history, culture, and hidden gems. From the neon-lit nights of bustling cities to the serene beauty of wide-open deserts, I am here to help you navigate every mile of this legendary road. So, grab your maps and get ready to uncover the stories that have shaped the main street of America. Route 66 is an iconic and legendary highway that holds a special place in the history and imagination of the United States. Stretching over 2,400 miles from Chicago, Illinois, to Santa Monica, California, this historic road has captured the hearts of adventurers, travelers, and dreamers for decades. Beyond being a mere highway, Route 66 embodies the spirit of exploration, the quest for freedom, and the quintessential American road trip experience. With its charming small towns, quirky roadside attractions, diverse landscapes, and a tangible sense of nostalgia, Route 66 remains a symbol of America's open road, offering a journey through time and a connection to the past that continues to captivate modern travelers seeking a taste of America. The road trip should start in Chicago, where it is recommended to spend 2 days exploring the city. No car should be needed as the city has a good public transportation system. On the first day, you should visit the Cloud Gate, or what is commonly called the Bean, located in Millennium Park. Its unique design makes it one of Chicago's attractions that cannot be missed. After visiting the park, the next stop is the Art Institute of Chicago. Featuring more than 300,000 works, it is one of the largest museums in the United States, and with such a vast collection, it is possible to spend the whole day here. Since you are limited to only 2 days in Chicago, the recommendation is to spend around 2 hours in the museum. After that, I recommend seeing the Route 66 Begin sign, located on East Adams Street, and of course, taking a picture of the sign to remember the beginning of your journey. The next place is Buckingham Fountain, one of the largest fountains in the world. There you can seat and admire the Chicago skyline. If you don't feel like stopping there, you can continue along the lakefront trail and head to the Shed Aquarium while enjoying the views. The aquarium contains 1,500 species and was considered a National Historic Landmark in 1987. If you have time on your hands, you should also visit the Field Museum, which exhibits the biggest T-Rex in the world. Continuing with the cultural activities, the next stop is the Museum of Science and Industry in Jackson Park. It can take up to 40 minutes to get there using public transportation, but the museum should not be missed. After that, the only place left for the first day is the Sky Deck on the 103 degrees floor of Sears Tower. There you can watch the city while the sun is setting and see Chicago change as the dark sky begins to take place. For the start of the second day, I recommend doing a river cruise, as it gives a completely different angle to the windy city. After that, walking along the Riverwalk is highly recommended. The next stop should be Navy Pier, a place full of life, with events and attractions all year round. It is also one of the best spots for viewing Chicago's skyline. If you are a baseball fan, you shouldn't miss Wrigley Field. It is the ballpark of the Chicago Cubs, and is currently the second oldest park in the majors. Additionally, it was designated a National Historic Landmark in 2020. After paying it a visit, the next stop should be the Lincoln Park Zoo, home to about 1,100 animals from 200 species. It is a great place to spend an afternoon. Besides, is one of the only free admission zoos in North America. To end the day, I once again recommend going to an observation deck. This time, it is the 360 Chicago on the 94th floor of the John Hancock Building. From there, you get views from the rest of Chicago that will make your visit to the city memorable. On day 3, it's time to leave Chicago and head to Dwight, where you will find a restored Ambler-Becker, Texas service station. The next stop is Pontiac, which features the Route 66 Hall of Fame, the Pontiac Oakland Auto Museum, and the Livingston County War Museum. After that, it's time to head to Springfield, Illinois. The city was home to U.S. President Abraham Lincoln and offers visitors the possibility to visit the house where he lived, the Lincoln Tomb State Historical Site, the Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum, and the Illinois State Capitol building. The last stop before the final destination for the day is Staunton, home to Henry's Rabbit Ranch, an iconic place on Route 66 with its collection of Volkswagen Rabbits and an old gas station. The final stop for the third day is St. Louis. The city has a lot to offer, so it is recommended to spend the final part of the third day and half of the fourth day here. The main attraction is without a doubt the Gateway Arch. With its 630-foot height, it is Missouri's tallest accessible building. Besides the arch, you should also visit the St. Louis Zoo, the Missouri Botanic Garden, the Busch Stadium, and the City Museum. After leaving St. Louis, it is time to drive to the Merrimack Cavers, a 4.6-mile cavern system near Stanton, Missouri. After visiting it, drive to Cuba, a city known for its murals and the Wagon Wheel Motel. Outside of the city, you should drive to Fanning 66 Outpost, where you will be able to see the world's largest rocking chair. After that, I recommend driving for 39 miles to Devil's Elbow and crossing the Old Bridge. If you still have time in your hands, you should stop in Lebanon and visit the Route 66 Museum. The final stop of the day is Springfield, where it is recommended to stay the night. We start the fifth day of the road trip in Springfield, the birthplace of Route 66. The city has a lot to offer, with the Route 66 Car Museum, the Pythian Castle, the Wonders of Wildlife National Museum and Aquarium, and more remarkably, the Fantastic Caves, where you ride through a 50-minute tour on Jeep-drawn trams. After Springfield, the next stop is Joplin, where you can explore the Route 66 Mural Park and the historic city center. And if you are a fan of the movie Cars, you should definitely stop at Galena, Kansas, where you will be able to see the characters on the roads of the city. Depart from Galena and head to Tulsa. Before entering the city, you should visit the Blue Whale of Catoosa. It is one of the main attractions of Route 66. When reaching Tulsa, you can visit the Philbrook Museum of Art and the zoo. The final stop of the day is Oklahoma City, the capital of the state of Oklahoma. There, you can visit the Oklahoma City National Memorial and Museum, the Scissortail Park, the First Americans Museum, and the Bricktown Water Taxi. For the sixth day, the first city you should visit is Elk City, 110 miles west of Oklahoma City. There, you can make a stop and visit the National Route 66 and Transportation Museum. After that, it is time to cross the border with Texas and visit Shamrock, where you can visit the Pioneer West Museum, the Magnolia Service Station, and most importantly, the Tower Station and U-Drop Inn Cafe, which served as an inspiration for Ramon's Body Shop in Cars. The final stop of the day is Amarillo, a city filled with historic sites and Route 66 memorabilia. There I recommend trying a Texas barbecue for dinner and leaving the sightseeing of the city for the next day. For day 7, I recommend doing a little detour and visiting Palo Duro Canyon, just 25 miles from Amarillo. The canyon is the nation's second largest after Grand Canyon. After that, the next stop should be the Second Amendment Cowboy and the Cadillac Ranch, a quirky public art installation featuring half-buried vintage Cadillacs covered with bright graffiti. Already on the road again, the next stop should be the ghost town of Glen Rio, right in the border of Texas and New Mexico. The city was abandoned because of the construction of I-40 after people stopped going to the city for gas. After that, it's time to drive through New Mexico and stop at Tucumcari and visit the Dinosaur Museum and the New Mexico Route 66 Museum. If you still have time, you can stop and visit Santa Rosa, featuring a Route 66 Auto Museum and the infamous Blue Hole, a small lake with a depth of 80 feet, popular for scuba diving. The last stop is Albuquerque, where I recommend spending a whole day here just visiting the city and the surroundings. For the 8th day, I recommend waking up early and watching the sunrise on a hot air balloon. Due to its climate and altitude, Albuquerque is the hot air balloon capital of the world, hosting the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta between the first 2 weeks of October. After the thrilling experience of riding a hot air balloon, I recommend hiking in Petroglyph National Monument or visiting the Albuquerque Biological Park. For the afternoon, you should visit the Anderson Abruzzo Albuquerque International Balloon Museum and the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center. After that, I suggest taking a scenic ride on the Sandia Peak Tramway, one of the longest aerial tramways in the world. From there, you can enjoy stunning views of the city and surrounding landscape. For the evening, Nob Hill neighborhood is the place to be at, known for its eclectic mix of shops, bars, and live music venues. After leaving Albuquerque, the first stop is Grants, where you will be able to visit the New Mexico Mining Museum and drive through a neon Route 66 sign. This is going to be the last stop in New Mexico. Already in Arizona, you should visit the Petrified Forest National Park and view the desert landscape and the dinosaur fossils. If possible, try to spend more than 2 hours just hiking around the park. The next stop is the Navajo County Historical Museum in Holbrook. And just before reaching Flagstaff, you should stop in Winslow, one of the cities that you cannot afford to miss on this road trip along Route 66. The reason behind this is standing on the corner park, popularized by the song Take It Easy, sung by the Eagles. After leaving town, head to Flagstaff, where you can visit the Lowell Observatory and the Museum of Northern Arizona and explore downtown. I suggest spending the night here, not because of the city itself, but due to its proximity to the Grand Canyon. For the 10th day on the road, I recommend visiting the Grand Canyon. It is one of the main attractions in the United States for a reason. It is an extraordinary natural wonder with a variety of ecosystems that will make this road trip even more memorable. For this guide, I only suggest plans for a day in the Grand Canyon, but you could easily fill 3 to 4 days just exploring this geological marvel. Now back to the recommendations. First, the place that shouldn't be missed is the Horseshoe Bend, where you can take photos of the Colorado River snaking through the canyon. It is by far the place that attracts the most tourists, and if you want to avoid them, try to be there in the morning. The closer to sunrise, the fewer people there. Besides that, you should also stop at the Glen Canyon Dam Overlook and book a tour to explore the Antelope Canyon. For the rest of the day, you still have a vast area to explore and countless opportunities to just stop the car and enjoy the stunning views of the region. For the 11th day, head to Kingman and visit the historic Route 66 Museum, the Desert Diamond Distillery, and the Mojave Museum of History and Arts. After that, it's time to do a detour once again and drive a little over 100 miles to reach Las Vegas. But just before reaching Sin City, I recommend visiting Hoover Dam, where you will be able to see the Colorado River and Lake Mead. Now, already in Las Vegas, it is time to explore what the city has to offer. Even though the Sin City got its fame from the casinos and nightlife, there is much more to see, and that is why I suggest spending 1 to 2 days here. My suggestions for the first day are exploring the Strip, riding the high roller observation wheel, visiting the Mob Museum, the Neon Museum, and the Fremont Street Experience. Besides that, attending the Cirque du Soleil show is never a bad option. For the second day in Vegas, the plan can be driving to Red Rock Canyon to marvel at the stunning red rock formations and desert landscape. After that, visit the Shark Reef Aquarium, the Las Vegas Arts District, and the Springs Preserve. For the last hours in the city, head to the Eiffel Tower viewing deck and visit the Bellagio Conservatory and Botanical Gardens. After leaving Las Vegas, it is time to head to Barstow, where you can visit the Route 66 Mother Road Museum and the Western America Railroad Museum. And just before reaching the so-awaited Los Angeles, drive 25 miles from Barstow and visit Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch, a must-see when doing Route 66. The forest of trees made with bottles and vintage objects attracts a lot of people, and once you visit it, you will understand why. Now it is time to head to Santa Monica's Pier and finally reach the end of Route 66. After 14 days on the road, it is time to rest and enjoy what Los Angeles has to offer. Even though you have concluded the road trip, I suggest spending 2 days just exploring Los Angeles. These are my recommendations for 48 hours in the City of Angels. The Griffith Observatory is one of the landmarks of the city and one of the best viewpoints over Los Angeles. The Hollywood Boulevard and the Walk of Fame, the Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills and Venice Beach. This last one is recommended at sunset. For the second day, it is recommended a couple of museums that the city has to offer, namely the Getty Center, the Broad, and the LACMA. There is, of course, a lot more to do and see in LA, but I will stop my recommendations here. I hope you guys liked my comprehensive guide of Route 66 and put that into practice someday. In the description, there is a link that gives you access to a map that shows every single recommendation made during the video. If you appreciate this type of video, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and see you on the next one.